You clicked on this video because you want to know the difference between you and a 1% man. Really, the only difference, the main difference, is your belief system. Now, there's a quote that I love that it's titled, "He who says he can and he who says he can't are both right." Now, you probably fall into the latter category, believing you cannot do things. And that's okay. I used to believe I couldn't do things. I think everybody who wants to achieve some level of success starts with going, I don't think I can do that. It's a very normal thing to feel. But that's what sets you apart. You all know people who, if you ask them, oh, why don't you move to this country? Why don't you start this business? Why don't you do this thing? They have an endless stream of excuses saying, well, I can't do this because of X, Y, Z. I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that. And at the end of the day, all of them are excuses. You're making excuses for, I can't do this because I don't believe I can. And the way to... Now, I want you to do a bit of a thought experiment for me. And I want you to imagine whatever goal you have in mind, whatever place you want to be, the future state of yourself. I want you to imagine that. And I want you to understand that that is real. Obviously, it's real within your imagination, but bear with me with this. That state, say you want to make $10,000 a month. Seems to be everybody's goal nowadays, but you want to make $10,000 a month, that's your goal. You want to move to that state. If you're a man who could, if you possess the ability to do that, you would already be there. If I handed you a business right now that was producing $10,000 a month in profit, you would probably drive it into the ground within a year because you lack the ability to do so, and that's okay. But you need to become the man who can, who says he can do things, and who asks, why not? That's really the biggest difference. But let's go back to that goal, that $10,000 a month. You want to hit that, everybody wants to hit that. You don't actually achieve that goal. You become the person who can earn $10,000 a month, right? There's no magic button you hit and all of a sudden you can do that. You have to become that person. You have to learn those life lessons, whether that is discipline, delayed gratification, and all of those things. That is how you achieve that goal. Now, if you've got a pen and paper, you've got your computer, write down what you want to achieve. Write down that future state, whether it's $1 million, whether it's starting a business, whether it's doing something. Write that down. And once you've done that, figure out, what does that person do? If your goal is $10,000 a month, what does somebody who earns $10,000 a month do on a day-to-day basis? And ignore gurus, ignore people trying to sell you a course because it's all rubbish. You have what it takes to achieve whatever you want in your life. But it starts with believing you can and then working out how to get there. No course, no YouTube video, nothing is going to teach you exactly what you need to know. Only you know what you need to do to get there. That's what separates you from a 1% man, is that 1% man takes radical accountability. Now, you may really hate this, and when I did this thought experiment, I absolutely hated it. But where you are in life right now, whether you're sat in your room, you're in bed, you're not happy with your life right now, that is a result of all the decisions you have made up until this very point. And that's difficult to deal with. That's difficult to go and sit with, that everything that's going on around you, everything, how much money you earn, what you do, if you have a girlfriend, if you live a life of purpose, of fulfillment, that comes down to the choices you make. Now, we've only got a few weeks left of 2023, but 2024 could be your year if you believe you can. But it all starts with taking responsibility, complete responsibility for your situation right now, where you are in life. It's all a result of every single decision you've made. And if you want to achieve that $10,000 a month, if you haven't yet, don't keep making the same decisions, because it's keeping you trapped where you are, and it's stopping you from being able to move to that state. So, to recap, be a man who can, and take true responsibility for your life. The day my life changed was the day I realized everything in my life was my fault. My belief systems, my talents, or lack thereof, all down to me. And instead of making excuses on why the economic climate is bad, this market is saturated, I can't do this, let me tell you a story. I used to work in sales in London. I used to work in Canary Wharf in One Canada Square, which is the pinnacle of Canary Wharf. I felt the coolest kid going in, and I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, going into Canary Wharf, and I felt so cool. But on my lunch breaks, I was watching Lost LeBlanc videos. All I wanted to do was become a digital nomad and travel the world full time and do that and live in Bali and all of those cool things. But I believed I couldn't. I believed with my skill set right then that I couldn't do that. So when lockdown hit and everything went a bit crazy, I spent a year learning how to code. I taught myself HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. I built websites. I built front-end apps. I did so much. I didn't get paid a penny for it, but I thought, oh, that's how I'm going to do it. Someone who knows how to code can be a digital nomad, and they can do this, and they can live anywhere. But I realized I already possessed the abilities to make money online. I possessed the abilities to live an authentic life and do what I wanted to do. I had that belief so ingrained in me that I went and dedicated a year, didn't earn any money, and learned a skill. Admittedly, is very useful, but I don't use much now. So really the lesson in that is that when you believe you can do something, you'll find a way. You'll find a way to persevere through. And a 1% man doesn't make excuses. A 1% man tries, he works hard. He has discipline. Now, if you're in a phase in your life right now where you're trying to achieve something but you're not quite there, you know what you need to do. It's uncomfortable, but you know exactly what you should be doing right now instead of on YouTube or wherever you are. That's what you need to do. Now, you are the best person at giving yourself advice. Now, I want to tell you about a paradox, King Solomon's paradox. If you've never read the Bible, then you won't know who this is, but to give you an explanation, King Solomon was one of the most successful, materially successful kings in the entire world. He gave great advice. He had all the material successes any man could want. However, his personal life was in shambles. He had countless mistresses, concubines, children outside of wedlock, and all sorts. But he was amazing at giving advice. And one day, 2 women came to him. With them was a child. Both women claimed that the child was theirs, and it was up to King Solomon to decide whose child this is. King Solomon thought, and he said one simple thing. Fine. We shall chop the child in half. You shall have one half. You shall have the other. It will be fair. Immediately, one of the women fell onto the floor weeping, saying, the other lady can have the child. Please don't hurt him. The other lady can have him. Don't chop him in half. And instantly, King Solomon knew exactly who the child's mother was. But while King Solomon could give fantastic advice, he was terrible with his personal life. It was widely known in the kingdom that King Solomon's personal life was in shambles. Now, the lesson you can learn from this is that you're really good at giving advice. People probably come to you for advice and you give great advice. But when it comes to your life, it doesn't seem to compute. You don't seem to be able to give yourself good advice. Well, this is a thing that you can do that will really help you, and it's what I do. Create a document, use Notion, whatever, and imagine like you are writing to your 80-year-old self who's achieved everything in life you want to do. Write down your problem, a single problem at a time, leave the document and come back a few minutes later and think of you as your 80-year-old self. What advice would you give to yourself? And genuinely type this all out. This will make a huge difference. And you'll be able to solve any problem. What's in your head can help you. Instead of looking for answers on the internet, look within yourself. Because if you change your thoughts, you are going to change your life.